charged with regulating the subdivision of property in unincorporated areas of Jefferson County. You'll be given the decision of the commission today regarding any subdivision request, and the plat representative will receive the decision in writing within 10 business days. Note that any subdivision approved today is not complete. In order to complete the subdivision of your property, the final plat must be recorded in the office of the judge of probate. County staff will be coordinating with the surveyors of today's approved preliminary plats to prepare the approved plats for recording. The Planning and Zoning Commission is also charged with evaluating requests for rezoning of property and advising the County Commission for their final determination. All decisions made by the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding zoning cases are advisory only, and the final determination of the zoning will be made by the Jefferson County Commission in a subsequent public hearing for which all property owners within 500 feet will be notified. So just to summarize, for the zoning cases, we'll be making a recommendation to the County Commission. They'll make the final decision in another meeting. I'd ask you take your phones or any electronic devices and put them on silent or turn them off so as not to disturb our meeting today. May I have a roll call, please?
Ian Lowry.
Here.
Jay Miller.
Here.
Marklin Sigler.
Here.
Joseph Andrews.
Here.
Kenneth Cush.
Here.
Georgia O'Neill.
Here.
Steve Strang. Here. Mike Thomas.
Here.
Kenny McCurry.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have four.
All right, thank you. So may I have a motion regarding the reading of the minutes from the March 14th, 2024 public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we suspend the rules and approve the minutes as submitted.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. So first on our agenda, we'll hear subdivision cases. The staff will present the case to the commission, and then I'll call for opposition. The applicant or their representative may be asked to come forward to the podium and answer any questions as well. I'll remind you now, and then maybe a little bit later, if you come to the podium to speak in opposition or as an applicant or representative, please first give us your name and address for the record. All right, so our first subdivision case today is S240016.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is a proposed subdivision to split an acreage tract into two lots of record for residential use. You can see here in the aerial photo there's an existing residence on this property, and it's proposed to be divided into two lots, lot one having the existing residence and lot two being the remainder of the acreage. It does comply with our A1 zoning requirements. The applicant should verify that the site distance is attainable and that the driveway with appropriate radii is constructible for the access point. No additional right-of-way dedication is required. There's no floodplain on this property and no public sewer available, so the Jefferson County Department of Health will have to approve the on-site septic system. Staff does recommend approval for this two-lot subdivision.
All right, thank you, Mr. Martin. Is the applicant present? All right, thank you. Is there any opposition on this subdivision case today? All right, hearing none, any questions from the commissioners? May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for approval on case number S240016.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Our next subdivision case today is S240017. Mr. Martin?
Yes, sir. This is a resurvey of an old lot of record from it's lot 13 of McAdory versus Bass number 2. So this is a portion of that lot, and so this is a resurvey to survey into one lot of record. It is smaller than the 1 acre requirement for A1 zoning. However, this did receive a variance in January to allow less than that 1 acre from the Board of Zoning Adjustment. And there was recently a rezoning case to change it to A1 zoning for the use of a mobile home on this property. Other than that, it does comply with our A1 standards. There's no anticipated road access or traffic operation issues here. Right-of-way dedication will be required for Dixie Avenue, 25 feet from the center line, where adjacent to the property. There's no floodplain and no sewer immediately adjacent. However, it's approximately 225 feet west of the subject property. And so, as such, both the Jefferson County Environmental Services Department and Department of Health will need to sign this final plat. Staff does recommend approval for this one-lot resurvey.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Martin. Is the applicant here? All right, thank you. Any opposition to this subdivision case? Hearing none, may I have any, are there any questions from the commissioners? All right, may I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I can make a motion for approval on case number S240017.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Just a footnote for everybody, for subdivision cases, after yours is heard, you're welcome to go ahead and leave, unless you want to stay around for the rest of the excitement. Appreciate it, but we got to go. All right. They always say that. Okay, our next subdivision case is S240018.
Yes, sir. The purpose of the subdivision is to divide an acreage tract into 2 lots of record for residential use. You can see here this is A1 zoning, has some agriculture use going on and existing residents there. This is a proposed plat to split into 2 lots of record there, with one residence being on lot 1 and the remainder of it being on lot 2, the acreage. It does comply with our A1 zoning. Driveway access must be approved prior to construction here on lot 2. No additional right-of-way dedication is required, no floodplain, and no sewer, so the Department of Health will need to sign and approve the final plat. Staff does recommend approval for this 2-lot subdivision.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Martin. Is the applicant here today? All right, thank you. Any opposition to this subdivision case? Okay, coming up, if you didn't remember when you get up here, name, address first, and tell us what your concerns are.
I'm Becky Tucker. I'm a real estate agent, and this is my client, Pam Bagwell. And she owns this property that surrounds this proposed subdivision. And so she just has questions about what could be allowed in the future, like multiple mobile homes. There's one mobile home currently on one part of this property. And so her concern would be over how many could potentially be placed on these 2 separate lots.
Okay, well, sorry to interrupt you. Address for you, Ms. Tucker.
My address, yes, my home address is 7749 Old Bagley Road. That's Empire, Alabama, 35063.
Okay, is your client going to speak also, or do you wish to? If you do, we just need your name and address. We'll go and get that out of the way.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
speak for her,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Was that everything you wanted to know about?
Well, I mean, that's the concern. She owns that acreage there, and it's 34 acres. It's very beautiful property and well-kept property, and just feels like if multiple income-producing units were placed on those 2 lots, it could devalue or take away.
I think we can answer those pretty quick for you, okay?
Okay.
If you have a follow-up, I'll let you.
Okay.
So, Mr. Martin, do you want to answer those for us, or?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is A1 zoning, as your lot is as well, excuse me, your acreage tract. The use is not changing. It's A1 agriculture, which is all these are adjacent properties except for the one to the south there is commercial. So the use would be the same, residence, single-family residence. You could have a single-family residence with up to 2 mobile homes if it's directly family-related, or potentially 3 mobile homes if it's all family, direct family, which is consistent with the other properties we sold.
So I think with that information, she would be opposed to the approval of the subdivision.
Okay. I understand. Is there just to be clear, so you understand that it's going to be zoned They're just splitting the larger lot into two separate lots. And they'll be allowed, they could have a single-family residence and up to 2 mobile homes on any of those 2 lots.
And that's concerning.
Okay, and so just to give you a perspective, if they didn't subdivide them, they can build 1 house and put 2 mobile homes on it right now.
The way it is currently, the law would allow that.
Yes. So just when they split it, but I'm going to ask the applicant to come up and talk about what he's planning on doing and see if that helps alleviate your
Okay.
concerns. So, and then, but I appreciate you coming up and appreciate your concerns.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Stephen Gilbert, 5160 Scenic View Drive. I'm actually the surveyor of the property, of the project.
Okay.
So as far as the owners want to sell the property and divide it, intends to purchase the property and divide it into, I don't know what their intentions are beyond that.
Okay,
But
so
as
he's
it-
just
but
gonna
as
put it
it
on the
stands, if it does not get approved, they could still put the three mobile homes on the property as it is now.
Right.
So
It's
there's
3
no change,
versus
we're not changing the zoning at all. Not seeking change for a rezoning.
I understand. Okay. So just to be clear, your client's going to purchase the property, subdivide it, and then sell both parcels?
Yes, I think they may have already purchased it in the meantime,
And you know what their plans are?
just to sell it one piece and don't know what will happen after that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any questions? Well, sorry, is there any other opposition to this case? All right. Any questions from the commissioners? All right. May I have a motion?
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for approval on case number S240018.
Second.
All right. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? All right. Motion passes. Our next case today is S240019. I'm sorry, 18. Okay, so I'm totally out of order in my marks here. 19.
Yes, sir. This is property is 100 Shores Camp Road in Adger, Alabama. The purpose of this subdivision is to resurvey a portion of an acreage tract into 1 lot of record residential use. You can see here from this aerial photo, it's a larger acreage tract with existing residents down here on the south end of it. The proposed lot 1 would encompass that existing residence along with the accessory structures. At this time, the remainder of the parent tract has not been submitted for the plat, but prior to any permits being issued on that portion, it will need to be approved and platted as a subdivision lot. There's no anticipated road access or traffic operation issues here. A right-of-way dedication will be required for Shores Camp Road, 25 foot from center line, where adjacent to the property. No floodplain, and there's no sanitary sewer available here, so the Department of Health will have to approve and sign the final plat. Staff does recommend approval for this 1-lot subdivision.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Is the applicant here for this case? All right, thank you. Any opposition to the subdivision case today? All right, hearing none. Any questions from the commissioners? All right, may I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion for approval on case number S240019.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Hold on just a second. Okay, our next case today is S240020. Mr. Martin?
Sir, this property is at 4239 Higginbotham Road, Pinson, Alabama. The purpose of the subdivision is to divide 1 acreage tract into 2 lots of record for residential use. See here, existing acreage tract with a residence and accessory structure on there is being proposed to be put on lot 1, and the remainder of the acreage approximately would be in lot 2 here. This does have frontage on Higginbotham Road. It does comply with our A1 zoning requirements. There's no anticipated road access or traffic operation issues. That right-of-way dedication will be required for Higginbotham Road, 25 foot from the center line. We're adjacent to the property. There's no floodplain and no sewer on this property as well, so the Department of Health will have to sign and approve the final plat. Staff does recommend approval for this two-lot subdivision.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Martin. Is our applicant here today? Thank you. Is there any opposition on this subdivision case? Okay, hearing none. Any questions from the commissioners? All right. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for approval on case number S240020.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Our next subdivision case today is S240022. Mr. Martin?
Yes, sir. This property is at 3425 Warrior Jasper Road. The purpose of the subdivision is divided an existing acreage tract into two lots of record for residential use. You can see here from the aerial, it has existing mobile home and stick-built home on this residence, and it's zoned A1. It was both lots are less than the required 1 acre that's required by A1 zoning, but they did receive a variance in February from the Board of Zoning Adjustment to have less than 1 acre for both of these lots, as well as some additional variances for the existing residences in terms of side setbacks and front setbacks. So with that, it would comply with our zoning regulations. There was a note from traffic that the site distance should be verified for the access location and make sure that the driveway location with appropriate radii can be constructed there on the proposed easement. Right-of-way dedication has already been completed for Warrior Jasper Road. There's no floodplain and no sewer on this property, so the Department of Health will have to approve and sign the final plat. Staff does recommend approval for this two-lot subdivision with an exception to the subdivision regulations to allow Lot 1 to be recorded with no road frontage.
Mr. Martin, you sure it's Lot 1?
Pardon?
Are you sure it's Lot 1?
It is. I had to double check there, but
Okay, my notes had Lot 2.
yeah, Lot 1.
You got that?
Yeah. Yeah, like is it lot 1 or lot 2, Mr. Martin?
It's Lot 1. It's
Lot
right
1?
here. Yeah.
Okay.
This one does not have road frontage right there.
Okay, all right, thank you. Is the applicant here today? All right, thank you. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case today? Any questions from the commissioners? Mr. Martin, one last time, let's double check. Lot 1, right? For the exception?
Is the surveyor here? Can he confirm that? Mr. Davis can probably confirm that. Lot 1 is the northernmost lot there that has the easement to it.
All right.
He says it, I believe it.
Very good. All right. Going once, going twice. All right. Having no opposition and no questions, may I have a motion, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for approval on case number S24022 with the exception to allow lot 1 to be recorded with no frontage.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Our next subdivision case is S240023. Mr. Martin.
Yes, sir. This property is at 4291 East Ellen Man Road in Dorr, Alabama. The purpose of the subdivision is to divide an acreage tract into 3 lots of record for residential use. You can see here it's an undeveloped tract of land with road frontage there on Ellen Man Road. It does comply with A1 zoning requirements. There's no anticipated road access or traffic operation issues. Right-of-way dedication has already been completed for Ellen Man Road. No floodplain, and again, no sewer available to this property, so the Jefferson County Department of Health will have to approve the on-site septic system. Staff does recommend approval for this subdivision.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Is the applicant here today? All right, thank you. Any opposition on this subdivision case? All right, any questions from the commissioners? May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I can make a motion for approval on case number S240023.
I second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. I want to double check something. What, your motion, what case did we make the motion on? Did you say 24? 23? Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, so our next case is S240024. Mr. Martin.
Yes, sir. This is a property address is 7557 William Houghton Road in Mulga. The purpose of this is a resurvey of an existing 2 lots of record for residential use. This was recently recorded in 2021. You can see here, this is the existing Lot 2, this dashed line is being relocated within the larger Lot 1A here, and so it's just sliding to the east there. This is a private easement, therefore it doesn't have road frontage, so there would be an exception to the subdivision regulations to allow lots 1A and 3A to be recorded with no road frontage. It does comply with A1 zoning requirements. The applicant should verify the site distance is attainable and the driveway with appropriate radii is constructible. No right-of-way dedication will be required, no floodplain, and again, no sewer on this property, so the Department of Health will have to approve the on-site septic system. Staff does recommend approval with that exception.
Okay, is the applicant here? All right, thank you. Any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, any questions from the commissioners? May I have a motion, please?
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for approval on case number S240024 with an exception to the subdivision relation to allow lots 1A and 3A to be recorded with no road frontage.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. So just a note, subdivision case S240025 is connected to a zoning case Z240013, and it'll be heard after we hear that zoning case today. So moving on to the agenda, we have one more subdivision case today, besides that one that we're going to do later. S240026. Mr. Martin.
Sir, this is 6966 Lou George Loop, Bessemer. This is a proposed subdivision to resurvey 2 existing lots of record into 3 lots. You can see here there's a couple of residences already on this property. So this is a resurvey to take it from 3 to 2. It does comply with our A1 zoning requirements, and there was a note from traffic about site distance must be verified for the new proposed driveway locations on these lots. There's no additional right-of-way dedication that will be required, no floodplain, and there's no sewer available as well. So the on-site septic system will have to be approved by the Department of Health. Staff does recommend approval for this 3-lot subdivision.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? All right, welcome. Any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, hearing none. Any questions from the commissioners? All right, may I have a motion, please?
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for approval on case number S240026.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. So we're going to transition into our zoning cases. I have few remarks before we get started. The staff will present the case, each zoning case to the board, and will then call for opposition. The applicant and their representative may be asked to come forward to the podium and answer any questions. Please note that each side for each case will have a maximum of 15 minutes. So if we have a bunch of people on one case in opposition, we get a total of 15 minutes to talk. So be precise, be organized, and when you come up to talk about things. I am going to make one other note. I mentioned earlier that the Planning Commission only makes recommendations on zoning cases. The County Commission has the final say on those, and that'll be held at another meeting. And I'm going to make one modification to the agenda today. We have a really big case, zoning case Z240010. I'm going to move it to the end of the agenda, and we're going to hear the other three zoning cases first. So I'm calling the first one Z240007. Mr. Brown.
Yes, sir. So, again, this is case C-2407. The applicant's requesting rezoning from agricultural to commercial to allow a convenience store at the location 1565-1581 Valley Drive in the Bessemer area. County's long-range future land use plan identifies this property for general transition or mixed use. And here's the county's existing land use map, which shows you the surrounding uses. To the north is an industrial use. South and east of the property are residential uses. To the west is a commercial use. And then to the far southeast of this site is also a commercial use. And here's the aerial, which shows you specifically what those uses are. So to the north is Valley Drive Auto Service. West is Public Shopping Center. Then you have your two residences to the south and to the east. And to the far southeast is actually a public storage facility. County zoning map shows you that surrounding the subject property, there's an I-1 industrial zone district to the north, R6 zoning to the south and to the east, and then there's MXD, which is in the Birmingham jurisdiction. MXD stands for mixed-use development. And then the far southeast is commercial, which is where the public storage facility is located. This is the applicant's site plan, and what it shows you is that the applicant is proposing 4,520 square foot building, 11 off-street parking spaces, which would include 2 handicap spaces, 2 points of ingress and egress onto Valley Drive, and then this applicant will be required to connect to public sewer because they're less than 200 feet from public sewer main. Staff is recommending approval, Mr. Chairman, subject to one condition, and that condition is that Valley Drive must comply with county standards, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. Is the applicant present? Would you like to add anything to Mr. Brown's presentation before I call for opposition? Okay, thank you. All right, is there any opposition here today? All right, if you would come up to the podium, name and address, if both of you are going to talk, I need both of you to tell us that.
All right, my name is Brian Pearson. I'm the owner of the Valley Drive Auto Service at 1555 Valley Drive. And my biggest concerns is, I guess number one is that it said that Valley Drive Auto complies with what?
Comply with county standards throughout the border limits of the proposed site.
And what does that mean?
Mr. Martin, you help him with that?
Or Mr. Brown, this is your...
I'm sorry.
Valley Drive is going to be widened to a 2-lane road configuration, i.e. 11-foot lanes.
Okay. How far down Valley Drive will that happen?
Property.
To the end of his property?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe it's already been done to.
It has been done to where that curve starts, where it says Tedeschi.
Right, that's the entrance to the public storage, and it's been done that far. They pick it up from there and carry it to the end of their property.
Okay.
Your property.
Yeah. And then, you know, I'm zoned industrial, and then the residential house next door to it, he wasn't able to be here, but his concern is the hours of operation, and so am I, because I own that as well. And then this is Houston. He lives at 1564, which is across the street from this proposed development. And you want to voice your concern?
Are you Houston, last name Houston, or first name Houston?
Middle name, first name Robert, but I go by Houston. My last name's Clay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clay.
And my address is 1564 Valley Drive, Bessemer, Alabama.
Okay.
And my concern is I have one small child. He's almost 2 years old, plays in the yard all the time. I'm going to be having another child in May. And the last thing me and my wife want to worry about is cars coming in there wide open, you know, not paying attention, late nights being open, and, you know, robbery.
And that's another one of my concerns. You know, I've got a lot full of cars next door, and, you know, if vagrants are going to be coming to this convenience store, I don't need them encroaching on my property. I mean, you know, how is this going to impact me, and what is the owner of this proposed convenience store planning on doing to make sure that that doesn't happen, make sure there's not too much traffic on Valley Drive.
And also the lighting, I'm sure that.
Yeah, it's already bad enough after public storage went in. I can just imagine what it's going to look like across the street when this goes in.
And the
Y'all are hitting all my list of things I'm going to ask, so.
Okay.
But keep going.
And then, the last thing I want to look out my front door is see a convenience store.
And then I also own a property behind his property that is going to impact as well, because that's on Valley Drive as well. That's 1504 Valley Drive. That I'm going to be renting that residential property out as well. So that's going to impact my ability to rent it, whether good or bad, I don't know. So.
Okay, we'll ask some questions. I do have a question for you, Mr. Clay. Mr. Brown, do you have a map that shows the residence better than this overhead?
He did. Yeah.
All right, so show us some there. Mr. Brown probably has a laser pointer. Could you point to your residence on the?
All right, so this is Houston's residence,
Okay,
and this is my property right there where I have the shop.
okay,
Is that what you needed to know?
yes,
Okay.
okay,
And then I'll also have the property that's butted up against his back there.
understood, okay, all right, thank you. Is there anything else, any other concerns you want to?
All I can say is, the public storage went in there, which I'm not sure how that's impacting the value of both of those properties since it boats up to it. But then this going in as well, as my property zone right now, is going to do nothing but devalue it.
Okay. Well, if you guys have had your say, I'd like to bring the applicant up and let them have the opportunity to address them.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys. All right, now it's your turn. If you don't know the drill, name and address before you start. And if I've got a list if you didn't catch everything.
Okay, awesome. My name is Kaylin Owens. I am the applicant. I'm from Tuscaloosa. My address is 11935 Ritchie Road. And to at least, with the lighting, we're still working on that. In terms of, since you said your residence was right above the storage, the second one, I would say we could probably look into taking away one of the access points so that people wouldn't be driving all the way up there. Something that we can definitely talk with the owner of said establishment. As to looking out your yard, there will be landscaping in place that will help meet the aesthetics of the environment around. And then what were the other?
Okay, so I'll just go through. One was, what are your hours of operation planned?
Hours of operation, that will be up to the owner. I can only assume that he would probably go up till at least the store itself up till midnight, as that's the most hours, common hours for convenience stores. The gas station itself, I don't know if it will be a 24-hour or if there will be a time limit on the gas station as well.
So is the owner here today?
I don't believe so.
So you're all by yourself?
I am all by myself.
Okay. All right. So hang on a second. So on the lighting, I was going to ask, typically we put a condition on the case if we recommend it for lighting to be directed away from residential areas or downward, so to address that part.
Okay.
So some of the other things were traffic, and obviously Mr. Clay's house is right across the street, and he has a young child. So, and then we talked about hours, crime. Those were the other things that I had written down.
Okay, so crime, there will be some type of security in place. As the owner's not here, I can't exactly address that, but I would, think with both security systems, the security system that you have and then the security system that the convenience store will have will lower the likelihood of crime.
Okay. See if the commissioners have any questions for you.
You addressed the closing time. What about the opening time?
Opening time, probably 6 a.m. I mean, I would think that its hours would stick with a normal convenience store hour.
Well, would you be inclined to modify your closing time? Midnight's kind of, that area right there, there's not much going on other than Publix cross street. I think
Okay.
they close early at 9 o'clock, is that correct?
Okay, definitely something that I can bring up to the owner when we discuss this is to look at the hours of operation to be around in the same times as the hours of the Publix.
Or at least not midnight, that's kind of stretching a little bit, but that'd help with the community,
Okay.
that.
Can I tag on to that? So you also mentioned that you weren't sure if the convenience store versus the gas station, you were separating them as two different entities with maybe two different sets of hours?
Yes. I know, again, it's not something the owner himself has completely defined as whether or not they were going to be same hours. I know some gas stations, they're still open even though the convenience store itself is not open.
Did you get all your questions answered? Any other questions from the commissioners? Okay. I think that's it. Thank you. All right. I'm going to close the public hearing and have some discussion with the commission here on this one. So, Mr. Miller, you up for some discussion?
I would like to see the hours of operation limited to 11 p.m. Of the store, if that's possible. Based on the ingress out of the community in the housing area right there. If it exit on the main road, I think the hours could be different. That would be, Shannon Road? Shannon, yeah. I would have no problem with it at 12 o'clock, but with being in the community on the back road right there, I have a problem with it at midnight. I think 11 o'clock would be sufficient for the store and still be able to operate from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Ma'am, is that something you could consider?
Yes, sir, sorry.
Okay.
So what he means by consider is we're going to put a condition on our recommendation. So, okay. Real quick.
Yeah, I just want to, are you saying change the ingress and egress to Shannon Winona?
No.
What are you saying?
I said if it was on Shannon, I think the hours could go to midnight. That way the vehicles wouldn't be coming in the parking lot back there, in the residential area right there.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I do want to make, I looked at the hours at Publix open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. across the street at Publix.
Okay.
That's what we're here for.
Okay. Any other discussion from the commissioners before I call for a motion? All right. I do have one. So she talked about maybe changing the entrance, didn't she? The access. Can I ask her? Okay. I got a question for you, Ms. Owens. You don't have to get up for this one. Did you say that you would consider moving the back entrance or changing it?
Yes, we could speak about seeing if it would be fine about just having, without that second entrance, just that one entrance, so we're not going up that far, putting these children at risk.
So you basically eliminate the second entrance?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. You like that? Thank you.
Our concern was the lighting. Did we address that?
Yep. We're going to, I believe that Commissioner Miller is going to make a recommendation for the lighting to be directed downward and away from the residences. All right. Any more discussion from the commissioners? Thank each of you for your additional input. All right. May I have a motion on this zoning case, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion of approval of Z24-007 with the following conditions. That Valley Drive must comply with the county standards throughout the border limits of the proposed site, which I believe has already been done. That all outside lighting be in a downward direction. That the hours of operation be limited from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. And it have one entrance, and that would be the first entrance off Valley Road coming off Shannon-Winona Road.
That completes your motion?
Yes, sir.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you all. Thank you, everybody. That was so our next rezoning case, again, we're going to hear 240010 at the end. So we're going to move to case number Z 240013.
1, 2.
Sir?
1, 2.
That one.
1, 2.
Thank you. 1, 2.
Oh, you ready for it? Okay, sure.
Yes, go ahead.
All right, so this is case Z2412. The applicant is requesting rezoning from industrial to agricultural for the allowance of a modular home at 6140 Flat Top Road. County's future land use plan identifies this property for rural land use. There is a 100-year floodplain that impacts the site along the eastern border. This is the county's existing land use plan that shows you, plan map that shows you the properties vacant, and surrounding the property on 3 sides at least is also vacant land. In that northeast corner is low-density residential uses, single-family dwellings. This is an aerial of the site. Again, it's vacant, overgrown. And again, you can see the 100-year floodplain there along the eastern border. This is the county's current zoning map. Property is currently zoned. That should be I-3. I apologize for that. In A1 in West Jefferson, that property across Flat Top Road is in the city or town of West Jefferson. It's zone A1. And then south and east of the property in unincorporated Jefferson County, that property is zone A1 agricultural as well. This is the applicant's site plan, which shows you ingress and egress off of Flat Top Road. They are proposing a septic tank, in which case the county's health department would have to approve this site plan. And the modular home itself would be approximately 1,980 square feet in area. Staff is recommending approval of this development proposal with one condition, and that condition is a special flood hazard area is present on the property, Zone A. A flood development permit will have to be approved by Jefferson County Floodplain Administrator before any work can begin. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Is the applicant here? All right, thank you. Is there any opposition to this zoning case? I should have asked you, do you want to add anything to Mr. Brown's presentation? Okay. Okay. All right. If you would like to come up and give us your name and address, and then you can tell us anything you want.
It's Jenny Stevens, and I'm actually at 4976 Palos Road. I actually own the 6140 Flat Top Road, which is right directly behind my main residence. The one thing that I've noticed that y'all are talking about the floodplain zone, we have had an elevation certificate done. Will that encounter with anything with the floodplain? Because, I mean, the home area is on the top of the hill. There's the creek area that's in a valley. So it's nowhere near the actual creek. So it's not actually going to be a flood zone where the house is put.
Mr. Brown, can you help with that? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add? All right, thank you. And I heard no opposition. Any questions from the commissioners? May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve Z24-0012 with the following condition. A special flood hazard area is present on the property, Zone A. A floodplain development permit will have to be approved by Jefferson County before any work can be started.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Our next zoning case is Z240013. And Ms. Hughes, we're ready when you are.
Yes, sir. This property is located at 6990 Bethel Road in the Dora area. The owner is Bethel Baptist Church, and the applicant is Rick Hollis. Mr. Hollis is requesting to rezone this property from A1 Agriculture and Institutional 1 to Institutional 1 to remove split zoning and align the zoning with the proposed subdivision. To the left hand of this, left here, I have the current zoning. It shows the entire parcel with the southern part being zoned Institutional 1. This zone district consists currently of a church, the parsonage, and a few accessory structures. To the south of this parcel is zone A1, is a vacant undeveloped. To the right here, I have the proposed survey of the property to the two lots, and it's lot 1 at the bottom here to the south would be with the Institutional 1, and lot 2 would be the A1 zone district. If you notice that the lines for lot 1 are expanding some to the east, northeast, I'm sorry, is expanding or increasing by approximately 4 acres. The future land use of the property is rural. This is just a street view of the current property. Staff summary and recommendation. Staff is recommending approval. Currently, this parcel has split zoning of A1 and Institutional 1. There is a companion subdivision case that's proposing 2 lots. The applicant is requesting to align the zoning of lot 1 with the proposed subdivision property lines for the existing church and an expansion for the church. Lot 2 is zoned A1 agriculture and will be sold. The aligning of the property on lot 1 would increase the property by 4.4 acres. It showed FEMA flood in the area, but there's none on the parcels. The proposed zoning and the land use is compliant with the proposed land use plan of Institutional 1. That's all I have for you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Hughes. Is the applicant here today? All right, thank you. Is there anything you'd like to add to Ms. Hughes' remarks? Okay, thanks. Is there anyone in opposition of this zoning case today? All right, any questions from the commissioners? May I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve Z24-0013.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we're going to switch gears a little bit. Remember, we skipped a subdivision case that was tied to this zoning case. So we're now going to hear S240025. Mr. Martin.
Yes, sir. This is the same property here, as mentioned. The purpose of it is to divide this 1 acreage tract into 2 lots of record for institutional and agricultural use. You can see here, this is the lot 1 that encompasses the church and the parsonage. Lot 2 would be the remaining acreage there that's being proposed for the A1 zoning. It does comply with all of our zoning requirements. We will need to wait until County Commission has approved the final zoning before recording the final plat, just to make sure that the zoning and the subdivision case lines will align. No anticipated road access or traffic operation issues. Right-of-way dedication will be required right here on Bethel Road, where adjacent to the property. Again, no floodplain, no sewer, so the Department of Health will have to sign the final plat. Staff does recommend approval for this 2-lot subdivision.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. I know the applicant's here. Is there any opposition to this subdivision case? All right, hearing none, any questions from the commissioners? May I have a motion, please?
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for approval on case number S240025.
Second?
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. So our next zoning case is Z240014. Ms. Hughes?
Yes, sir. This property is located at 8761 Lock 17 Road in the Bessemer area. The owner of the property is Jesse Walden, and the applicant's her son, Keith Walden. Mr. Walden is requesting to rezone this property from I-3 industrial to A1 agriculture for compliance of an existing residence. To the left here, it shows the current zoning of the property is industrial, and it's pretty much surrounded by A1 zone district. To the left here, we have the future land use, which is rural village. This is an area view of the property. And I just want to point out that there are several accessory structures on the property here. This is a street view that also shows the accessory structures. Staff summary and recommendation. The applicant proposes to bring the existing single-family residence into compliance. A residential use is not allowed in the I-3 zone district. The existing lot is approximately 0.48 acres. The site abuts A1 zoning on 3 sides, north, east, and west. An approval or change to the footprint of the existing structure of the parcel may require a variance if it doesn't comply with the current zoning regulations. The county's long-range land use plan is rural village. A1 zone district is consistent with that, and staff recommends approval. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hughes. Is the applicant here? Am I missing you? Are you back there? Speak up. Okay. Is there any opposition to this zoning case? Any questions from the commissioners? All right, may I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve Z24-0014.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, now we're going to flip back on the agenda a little bit, and I'm going to call case Z24-0010, which I know y'all been very patient waiting. Thank you for that. Mr. Brown, ready when you are.
Okay. So again, this is case Z2410. The applicant's requesting to remove split zoning from the property A1 and I4 to the I1 industrial zone district to allow a truck parking operation. The applicant's John Leslie Jett, and the location of the property is at 2301 Pawnee Village Road. This is the county's future land use plan, which shows you the property is presently designated as industrial. However, there is single-family residential across the street. Okay. So this property is within the 5 Mile Creek watershed, and evidence of that is the Pawnee Reservoir there showing to the west, and then you also have Barton Branch Stream, which is showing in the northeast corner of the site. This property falls within the 5 Mile Creek District, which was formed in 2002. And their mandate is to conserve land, reduce flooding, lead large-scale cleanups, and also develop parks and trails. This is the county's zoning map. It shows you the split zoning that we previously talked about, A1 and I4. Surrounding this site is agricultural to the north and to the west, and then to the south and east is I4 zoning. This is the applicant's conceptual site development plan. And what he's proposing is an office trailer, mechanic shop, 18-wheeler parking area. There would only be one point of ingress and egress, and that would be onto Pawnee Village Road. And then this proposal does not include connection to public sewer, so therefore there would be a private septic on site. Staff is recommending approval, Mr. Chairman, for the following reasons. The subject property is presently vacant, undeveloped, and overgrown. The applicant proposes to remove split zoning, which should occur. The property is consistent with the county's long-range future land use map industrial designation. The subject property is also contiguous to industrial zoning. The development proposal is in character with general land use in the area. Staff recommends approval subject to the following. 1, provide a natural undisturbed 25-foot buffer on both sides of Barton Branch Stream to protect water quality within the 5 Mile Creek watershed. And 2, the jurisdictional stream is running from Pawnee Reservoir to the west of the property, bisecting the north quarter of the property. Then the applicant's engineer will need to verify this impact to the site. And lastly, 3, if determined to be jurisdictional, then a U.S. Army Corps of Engineer permit shall be required before any site development work can begin. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown. Is our applicant here today? All right. Would you like to add anything to Mr. Brown's presentation? All right. A couple of reminders before I go forward. So in the beginning, I talked about for opposition and for the applicant, you're going to get 15 minutes of talk time. There's more than 15 people in here, so hopefully you have a representative and you're organized to talk. So And just, these are helpful hints, so if somebody's already said a point you want to make, I would skip that if you have more to say that hasn't been said, so that you keep the discussion fresh. So I'll be making notes on your points, and we'll get to all of those. My trusty right-hand man here is going to be timing y'all to keep you honest. And then when the applicant comes up, I'm going to have some questions about the site plan, so be prepared to talk about that. All right, so now I'll call for opposition. Who'd like to go first? And podium, name and address, please. If all three of you are going to talk, or are y'all aligned?
They're on talk
Okay.
too.
Okay. All right, please.
My name is Sue Duke. My address is 2428 Pawnee Village Road
Welcome.
and has been all my life. This is an old established community, and we have a lot of elderly people and a lot of children. And the place where he would have to come out to come out on that road, because there's gullies all down in there. I don't know if I went out to see it or not, but there's a big gully. It's overgrown, but it's in the gully. But if they come out, the man that lives right there where they would come out is got 6 children, little ones. Also, it's right there at an artesian well that has been there all of the existence of the community and needs to be protected.
What side of the road is the artesian well on?
The opposite side, from right where they're talking about coming out.
It's on their property?
It's designated public property, so everybody could get water at the time that it was designated, 25 feet around it.
Okay, thank you.
But this road is narrow, winding, and steep. It comes down 2 hills to get to it. And then it's on 2 curves on this side. And on the other side, there's another steep curve where we used to have wrecks constantly. And I believe you got a petition from all of us, did you not?
Yeah, I meant to mention that. We got a significant amount of opposition letters and
Right.
emails and such.
Did you also get the letter from Deputy Chief Mays?
We did.
Great. I think that pretty well sums up the danger of coming out there. And I think if he has, that's the only exit he's got, that he needs to reconsider, because there's going to be a lot of deaths there and a lot of danger. And it's also disturbing a lot of wildlife that goes to the reservoir. I would like for these 2 gentlemen to come up and talk to you also.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Duke.
Good afternoon. My name is David Smith. I live at 2442 Dakota Drive in the Pawnee community, and I also have an acre of land directly across from the entrance to this proposed property. This property, as a community, we have been fighting the commercial truck traffic for years. It's grown up around us, and we realize that, but we've been successful working with the county and the city of Birmingham, keeping it on the other side of the railroad tracks. We have residential roads in our neighborhood. We have them clearly marked with no commercial traffic. Our roads are not made for commercial traffic. 18 acres of 18-wheelers is basically a huge truck stop that will be coming 24 hours a day through our community. Our roads are not designed for that. The safety of our children, the school buses, the noise, the crime that would bring, the watershed, the water running off from clear-cutting 18 acres would be detrimental to the community. It'd actually be a slap in the face to the community. We've been working hard to keep our sense of community there in Pawnee, and we've been successful so far. And we, as a community, would like to see this remain residential or agricultural. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Brandon Dolan. I'm the chief of the Centerpoint Fire District. We provide fire and EMS response to this area. So our main concern is we believe beyond the train tracks, it was mainly residential. So this opens up to industrial. The access, the roadways is very narrow. A A lot of them are in need of repair. The added traffic in there creates a hazard for us when responding, working around it. But what is the purpose, or what will be in the 18-wheelers that are stored there? Is there cargo, materials, and then noticing the watershed that you have here, what's the potential release of a chemical into the watershed? Is that something you guys have considered? I understand that it's undeveloped land that you guys feel like needs to be utilized, but there's plenty of other land back up the road in the industrial area that probably could be suited better and provide them easier access to the highway. Because now they're going to have to cross the train track to get to this location here. But, that was my concern. My address, 2229 Center Point Parkway.
Chief, I got a follow-up question for you real quick. So you were mentioning about the road conditions and stuff. Do you have any issues servicing that road from either direction?
We do not, no. It is a one-way access into the Pawnee community from 79, and then Indian Valley connects it over to Carson Road. All those are very narrow, highly traveled, industrial-used roads.
Right. But the road's sufficient that you could get from one end to the other?
For our access, for our apparatus, yes.
Okay.
The heavy wear on the train tracks crossings, it does create mechanical and maintenance costs for us that we're dealing with now in the Robinwood area as well, crossing the train tracks and the wear and uses on the roads.
Thank you for that. And I want to thank you for your service. You provide fire protection for my area, too. So
Sorry, thank you.
All right, who's up next? Y'all still have like 9 more minutes left if you want to come up and have some remarks.
My name is Bruce Gurley. I live at 2051 Chenore Road. We have had trucks coming in. They use GPS sometimes. They get lost. We've had them come down my road, and there's no access there. They have turned around. They have knocked down telephone poles and wires. Left us without power for 5, 6, 7 hours because of that. The road, that Pawnee Village Road, the visibility as far as driving and seeing, it's not very good. It is a dangerous road when it's wet, and it's even more dangerous in ice and snow conditions. Like I said, the roads are narrow. And if you drop off the road, you're going into a ditch. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous for vehicle traffic against truck traffic. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Will you come all the way to the podium for us so we can hear you, please?
Would like to add that all of the roads in our community are already zoned no trucks. Signs are available off of Carson. They're coming from the industrial park into the community in the back, and from 79 at the railroad. When you turn there and get to the railroad track, there's a sign that says no trucks. Also, we have got an awful hard time just keeping the roads taken care of now from the roads that we have, the trucks that do come. They stay in terrible shape. If you've not been out there, I suggest you come through and ride through. Wished you all would come and look at that property. I'm telling you, if you get out of your car and go look, you're going to look at it. It goes down this way and back up this way. And there's a hill here and a hill here and a curve in between. And that child's right down there at the bottom. I wish you'd really consider it.
Thank you, Ms. Duke.
Commissioner, do we have another quick second?
Sure.
It was brought up to me on a good point.
Name and address first.
David Smith again at 2442 Dakota
Sorry.
Drive.
It's been a lot of people today. Sorry about that.
The Sterilite Drive, we work with the city of Birmingham. That used to be a through corridor for trucks. We worked with the city of Birmingham and the county to get that road closed. Now they have to come in the side road, and it's dedicated for truck traffic only. And that helped tremendously keeping that truck traffic out of Pawnee. We work with the community there to educate them. If they see a truck, the Fultonville Police Department and the Sheriff's Department have been good in writing tickets for that. So, thank you.
Welcome. Please come up, give us your name and address.
My name is Sandra Mickle. I'm at 2320 Hewitt Drive. And I think I was to understand that the water runoff has something to do with 5 Mile Creek, from that area. The 5 Mile Creek runs down and into from the reservoir and the runoff water. But 5 Mile Creek has an endangered species that is to be protected, and I feel like it comes under the EPA law, and that should be considered also for our wildlife. So if you check into that, you would see I forget the name of the fish, maybe a dartfish, but it is on the endangered list. And I, too, agree that strongly opposed to the road. It starts at the beginning, it starts low, and it's a steady incline on a very steep road, and they have friends that have been killed on that road. There's no access, no safe access to that from that Indian Valley Road at any point. So if you'd consider that, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for your remarks. Anyone else would like to speak?
My name is Cynthia Crane. I live at 4351 Osage Drive, 35217. My concern is I worked 40 years in the equipment industry, and I also was in charge of freight. So I tried to always make people have agree today just like you do. And the truck drivers always said, it's getting impossible. I'm ready to do anything but drive a car because all these cars they think we can stop on a dime. 18-wheelers have a different brake system than any truck, car. It's very impossible to stop those. That road is very narrow and very curvy and very steep and has many blind spots. As Sue Duke talked about the gullies, there was a young man that was walking the road that was hit. It was a hit-and-run accident, and he laid in the gully for over 24 hours before they found him. That's how steep those gullies are. So I wanted to reiterate what Ms. Duke said. But these gentlemen that work on this heavy equipment, they always talk about you cannot stop an 18-wheeler. They have Jake brakes, different brake systems, and truck drivers complain. They'll say, here we are trying to get things that we need for the USA. The truck drivers do bring everything. I do know that. But they are so dangerous, and they need to be on a major thoroughfare like Highway 79, something where they can get out and have red lights coming in and out, because I will reiterate what everybody said. It is going to be most dangerous, and I highly oppose it, because it's terrible when you lose a family member. And if a child was to be run over by a truck, and it could even be paralyzed. There are things worse than death, I'm sure many of us know. And the other day I looked at a sign, I was thinking about a sad incident, and I looked at where a wrongful death attorney said, I just got this settlement for $6,500,000. It's on Carson Road because of an 18-wheeler paralysis case. And that's what's so sad. I would hate to know that I have a young person living in a bed having to have 24-hour care for something that does not need to be in a community. And I thank you and hope you all have a nice day.
Okay. Thank you. We still have a few more minutes. I'm not encouraging, but if you would like the opportunity to talk some more, please come up.
Hello, I'm Debbie Sparks. I live at 4450 Indian Valley Road, and I just have one small add-on, and that is the noise factor. The trucks, if they're working on trucks, they'll be revving the engines, and you can hear that. We can hear it from the trucks on Highway 79 now already. And then the backup beeping, and if there's a parking lot for trucks, it'll be constant and 24/7 probably. So the noise factor.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Sparks. We don't have time. 2 minutes or less? Come on up.
Hi, my name's Chris Roberts. I live at 4171 Indian Valley Road, 35217. I have concerns also around the noise. Is there a statement as to how much of the land will be cleared of trees? I believe that would result in an increased amount of, or reduced amount of attenuation for sound, and carry over even more sound that we're getting from 79. Not to mention what's going on within the business that's intended for the location. And then also the lighting of the place is a concern for me because, the neighborhood, generally speaking, is quiet and it's pretty dark, so it's peaceful at night. And I can only imagine that if it is cleared out and proper lighting is put in place, that's going to have a pretty significant amount of additional light overcast into our neighborhoods that will be all kind of cherished back there in that community. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. So I think we're going to call it. We're right at 15 minutes. So I think y'all have a good chance to get all your thoughts out and comments. I appreciate them. I have a whole page here. So we're going to let the applicant come up and talk. And so just for process, opposition, you've had your time. If applicant will have his time to talk about and give you some answers and us some answers. And then if we, the commissioners, have some questions, we'll ask them too. So, but y'all have had your turn now. It's his turn. So coming up, the first thing we need, right? Yes, sir. All right. All right.
John Jett, 5800 Feldspar Way, Hoover, Alabama. And just for the record, I'm the civil engineer, just the submitting on this project. So I can answer some of the questions that you have.
Do you have reinforcements with you?
If they are, raise your hand.
Okay. There went your reinforcement, I guess.
Yeah, I hear their comments. The only thing that I would say that you're adjacent to industrial now, and it's a split zoning that's industrial. So I can answer any of the specific questions that you have, but this is a tentative site plan. There has not been a survey done at this time. This is just showing the intended use for the property, and then a lot of the conditional aspects to the approval would be evaluated, and when we go through the design process.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna start with my questions, and I'll let my my fellow commissioners go after me. So, so your site plan's conceptual.
Yes, sir.
Could you give us a little bit more narrative to go with the picture?
Yeah, from as much as I know at this point, they're going to have an office, a general office where you have, come in. And majority of the project's going to be 18-wheeler, like trailer parking, and the mechanic shop is something that they would like to have as well. So it seems like that is not the most primary use for the property. But that's all I know at this time from the.
Okay, so here's what I hear saying, that primarily if the zoning is approved, you're going to do some sort of development to the land to allow for 18-wheeler parking.
Yes, sir.
And then the other things are conceptual right now, the mechanic shop and the office.
I think it's something they want, so it was put on the plan. So I'm not going to say that it won't be done at the same time.
Well, conceptual means they're thinking about it, right?
That's right. So
okay.
That's why I just want to say I would imagine it was going to be there. I just can't say when.
Do you know what their plan is for clearing the land? Are they just going to do enough for the parking? Do you know how much?
No, we do not know as much as this time. It also depends on the topography of the the site to kind of see how everything lays in there. But that is the intended. I mean, yeah, well, that's all going to be evaluated at that time.
Okay. Any thoughts on? I know my questions are probably deeper than you're ready to answer, but any plans for outdoor lighting? I mean, is the site going to be lit?
I'm sure that they will have lights out there for 18-wheelers. But yes, there will be a photometric study, I'm sure, done on the property.
Okay. Do you know the hours of operation? Is it going to be staffed 24/7? Is there security?
No, sir.
Okay. So do you want me to go through their list of questions, or do you think you have answers to them? Or
you're more than welcome to, but
you heard them. Do you have answers to any of them? Let's put it that way, that you want to talk about, or any discussion?
As far as the civil engineering design of the property, that would be all evaluated, site distance and all that. Everything would be evaluated once that's done. Approximate location where we're going to tie into Pony Village Road, again, will be handled during the civil design. So this is just really a rezoning, and all the engineering aspects will come at a later date.
Well, we base our decision a lot on the questions that we have that we don't have answers to, so.
Yes, sir. I mean, if I was telling you something, it would just be
No,
my opinion.
you've had your turn. We got them all down, okay? Well, we got plenty, I promise. So, all right, so I'm going to turn it over to the commissioners. Any questions for Mr. Jett?
I don't think he can answer the one, so no. Just don't want to put it on you because you don't know. That's not your specialty.
Okay. Commissioner Strain, do you have a question? Okay, so what Commissioner Strain is mentioning is that would you be interested in making a request to carry this over to answer questions, bring somebody here with that would be willing to answer them?
Yes, sir. I can definitely let them know and see if they would be willing to attend.
Okay. You don't have to. I mean, it's your option, okay? I mean, we can vote on it today, and you have to make the request is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just want to ask, just so I understand the process, if you did go forward and vote, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, we'll either make a recommendation for or against, and then it'll go to the county commission, and they'll make a final decision on it.
But if it were to get rejected, do you have to wait a certain amount of time?
Ultimately, the county commission denies it, yes, you have to wait a year.
Okay. Oh, county commit. Okay.
Yeah.
Not.
Our decision is not binding. It is a recommendation to the commission. They can follow it or not, and they do both.
Okay. You got me on. That's a hard position to answer for the owner. It's like,
So.
Yeah, I think it would be best to table it at this time.
Say that one more time, please.
I think it would be best to table it at this time.
Well, tabling is a different thing. We can carry it over to the next meeting, and you can have more people here to answer questions for
Yes,
us.
sir. We can carry it over.
Okay. Is 1 month sufficient?
Yes, sir.
For you to rally your troops?
They live a significant distance, but I will make that. I'll let them know. And
Okay. You can let the staff know if you need more than 1 month.
okay, let's plan on that for now then.
Okay. Is that okay with staff? Now, so I'm going to make a motion here, but I just want to make some remarks too. So I know a lot of people from the neighborhood, from the Pawnee area came down here today, took time off work or other activities, and you have better things to do. I'm going to keep this list of questions. If y'all are back here next time, you can say them all over again. If you're not, I'll get the answers. I expect some of you will be here, but if all of you aren't, I'll still represent your questions to the applicant. So I just want to make that remark. So I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we postpone the meeting till carry over to the May meeting, be the second Thursday of the month.
Second. All right, I have a motion and a second to carry over to allow the applicant to have the necessary people here to answer our questions. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. That concludes our business today. Our hearing is adjourned. Thank y'all.
You can hit the lifeline today.
No win next meeting today. No.